What's going on, everybody? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you another Digimon Ghost Game. Episode review and recap is episode 4, also known as The Doll's Manor. So, this is a special Halloween episode. I say special, but it's not really all that special given that the name of the show is called Ghost Game and it's about digital ghosts and things of that nature. But this episode is legitimately Halloween themed, and I started to question whether they had took a week off just so they can get their Halloween episode on Halloween. At least in Japan, it was Halloween 6 to 8 hours ago. And it's about to be Halloween in approximately 8 minutes right now. But for those of you who are already watching this the next day, happy Halloween to you. I hope that if you've gone out last night that you were safe and you were sound. I hope that if you go out tonight that you are also once again safe and sound. And a nice little sound thing to do for me is to give me a little like and a subscribe. I definitely appreciate all of those things. So, let's talk about this. It's really hard for me to find the title of this episode. I thought the title of this episode was going to be called Trick or Treat, given how often I heard Trick or Treat. But it's called Dolls Matter for a reason. And, of course, we got to meet Angoramon and Rui from last week. Some of the translations when it comes to subs were saying Ruli. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Ruli. It's actually Ruli. I don't know why I kept saying Rui. I think I chop off that L. But yes, we have Halloween decorations in this. It's called Cultural Center. It might be Cultural Center Academy, but it's Cultural Center Place. I think this is where Ruli goes to school at. And we have a teacher. She's teaching dance, doing the tempo, saying everything in English. And a student, he's putting up decorations. He goes out to get more, and there's 4 pumpkin dolls, each with a different face. Well, here's Trick or Treat. He looks around, there's nothing there, but suddenly one of the dolls is missing. That doll grabs him and is pulling him through some curtains that say "Do not enter." And then the cleaning bot, the cult, it's called Cosmo Cultural Center or something like that. The little mascot, the hollow mascot named Cosmo, just wheels right on by. So we then find out, the next day that this is literally Ruli's school. They're just putting decorations up. And on the street is Gamamon and Hiro. And Gamamon calls everyone in costume a weirdo. And Hiro has to explain to him, it's Halloween, people dress up, kids go around the neighborhood, they get candy. And Gamamon instantly goes, oh, candy, Psycho, chocolate, right. Of course he loves chocolate. But a kid goes, hey, what is this thing? He wants to pet it, and before Gamamon can garner any more attention, Hiro runs down the hallway. He runs down to an alley, and he's trying to get him to turn invisible because he was told by Ruli you can turn him invisible. Unfortunately, he goes to the digital world. Gamamon breaks a sign that advertises chocolate, but when they come back to the real world, curiously enough, that sign is not broken in the real world. That will definitely come up again later. So Hiro was called by Ruli because they needed more help with staffing and decorating everything. And now they're friends. He goes in, he helps her. He's very formal when speaking to her. I believe he calls her by her last name. These last names are pretty difficult even for someone like me who likes to do things properly. But man, some of these last names of these characters. Anyhow, everyone thinks that the Digimon and Goramon, who's in the bunny suit, think it's a bunny AI. They think Gamamon is an AI, and Gamamon's flying with his cute tiny wings. He's flying, and it is noted by Ruli. Hiro does whatever he's asked, and he just says it. I find it to be easy that way. That is probably going to be that's a point for him to grow up on, because sometimes you need to say no. It's nothing wrong with saying no. Saying yes is nice to be available, but sometimes you need to say no. So I'm hoping he gets into a situation where he needs to say no. She mentions the vital bracelet, the Digivice is what they're calling it in here. He tells her go ahead and keep it. She says from now on, I'm gonna call you Hiro, so you call me Ruli. We are friends now. And he's like, oh, he's kind of taken back by it. He's like, okay, all right, as you say. And he is actually introduced by her to all her friends. I believe her main friends are Moe and Nano. I believe her name's Nano. And one of the other young ladies, not not Nano or I just said her name, not Nano or Moe at this moment. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't pay attention to any of the other girls' names. It doesn't really matter. I don't expect to see them in any significant roles in the show. But one of them is told to go get the light up candles. I had a light up candle in here for the Christmas holiday. And I'll probably put them back up. But anyway, goes to get the light up candles, but suddenly a pumpkin doll's behind her and she hears trick or treat. She's grabbed. And we see Pumpkin Thing dragging her. Now there are two pumpkin dolls missing on this bench. She shows Hiro how to work the invisible thing, which is like a click, click, like a double click, then a click here. And Goromon is now invisible. Anyone who has the bracelets can see them, but everyone else can't. They're like, "Where's that little bunny AI?" Blah 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 blah. Um, he wish he knew how to do that a long time ago, and we get a nice flashback of Hiro, I guess, in one of his teachers or counselors' offices, and he's like, "Are you sure this is an AI?" Because Gamma tore up that office and was actively chewing on books, and I guess that he just went along with it, just said whatever. Um, and it is noted that Angoramon is actually the one who noticed how it worked when Ruli first put it on. And Hiro wants him to teach him more about the digital world and everything that's going on. And of course, Angoramon is a gentleman and a scholar. Of course, he says yes. So it turns out, at least in this universe of the digital world, or of Digimon, I should say, a long time ago, an artificial intelligent computer virus had spread online and gave birth to various creatures. Those are called digital monsters, aka Digimon. They call the world that they were born in the digital world. Hiro's just taking notes. He even calls him Ngoro Sensei. The digital world exists alongside the human world, and sometimes Digimon pass through these digital gates randomly and are stranded in the real world, much like Angoramon was, but he quickly adapted to life being there. Granted, no one can see you, and it's probably a lonely existence, which we will see later. He asked him about evolutions because remember our little cutie Gamamon turned into Betel Gamamon and turned back. And Angoramon notes while playing with Gamamon's cheeks, mind you, this is a very adorable interaction if you're paying attention to it. He's saying normally it takes a long time for Digimon to evolve, probably what humans would call growth. But I've never heard of a Digimon growing and then turning back. And at this point, uh, that's my own Digimon that wants to go to sleep. At this point, Garamon has used his tiny wings and floated and landed on top of Angoromon's head very cutely. And Ruli asks, mm, Ruli asks about the question about them being brothers, and Garamon's like, "Yeah, that's my big brother. I'm the little brother." And Hero's like, he asks a question about his dad to Angormon. Angormon's like, he doesn't know what his dad could be up to. I guess he's never met him. But Hero says, at least when he saw him in the hologram message, he seemed to be doing well. Granted, you don't know how long ago that message was. It's a quick thing to note. So another victim has been taken by who I'm gonna I know it's Pumpkin Mon, but you know there are no more of these pumpkin dolls left, which is probably why this episode's called the Dolls Manor. The girl can't find her phone, so she goes to the bathroom. There's my phone, but she's gonna take a picture of all the pumpkins that they had put together, and then she gets dragged off, and foolishly gets dragged off, and then we hear slicing and stabbing. It is Pumpkinmon, and I'll show his picture in a minute. He is stabbing into the pumpkin, trying to give her eyes, and there's other people there with pumpkins on their head. This is pretty dang scary. Talking about we're gonna be friends. And it is interesting because we see the Cosmo hologram. The thing's been bugging out and wigging out with, I guess, Pumpkinmon disguised inside of it. Um, yeah. So, where are we? And I was freaking out too because I'm like, man, you could actually stab them in the face if you were digging any deeper. Like the blade is maybe like an inch and a half, but wow. So, that the one girl who was actually looking for her phone, she is then surrounded because she's watching another girl get her pumpkin head, and the same thing happens to her. Again, Digimon in this world are pretty damn scary, whether they mean to be or not. Someone takes a picture of a pumpkin, another pumpkin pops up. It's one of the pumpkin dolls. Trick or treat has been said again. They get taken. So many things are getting taken, and people are getting shocked by Cosmo. And Ruli is then called by some of the other people saying, they haven't seen her two friends that she hangs out with. The one that has a blog, probably I think it's Moe, and the other one, Nano. And they have a lot of staff people missing. And Hiro's like, tell us more about what's going on. So people go off by themselves and they get captured. They go to the spot where everybody seems to have just disappeared from. And Hiro and Goromon are pretty much a really good team because they surmise, all right, people are getting caught by themselves. We'll come up with a plan. And Hiro's just going to say he's going to be the decoy. While Gamamon and Goromon and Ruli, they're hanging back finding them. Granted, we don't get to hear any of that. We just get to hear trick or treat over and over again. It's interesting how, I guess, to save money on voice lines, they'll show the characters move their lips, but they won't have us hear the plan when we're just gonna. I would prefer just speaking over, like a voiceover, while the plan is going on. But maybe that's just because I'm watching with no commercials. Who knows? So while they're following Hiro, who's just looking around, that Cosmo thing is making a lot of digital noise behind them and then crashes into the wall. And Goromon says it looks like there's some electrical interference. They end up losing Hiro. Hiro ends up finding the do not enter blanket thing, goes through and sees all the people and sees Pumpkinmon giving another trick or treat pumpkin head on someone else. And he actually uses his trick or treat attack to put a pumpkin on top of Hiro, and he's using that knife to carve into his head. Hiro's muffled screams. One of the girls was actually crying from earlier before, which that's why I said this is horrifying. So all the crew, they come in, they catch it. They end up freeing Hiro, of course, but then they see everyone else, including Nana and Moe. Pardon me, they are all caught. I do find it very cute that Gamamon says, "You give me bad vibes, headbutt you." He wants to set everything on fire, but Ruli says no. We got other people around, but before that, we find out that I thought that these pumpkin dolls were just being controlled by Pumpkinmon. No, they are Candlemon and what is the other name? I wrote his name down. Oh crap, Ikakimon. And those they were identified by Goromon, and Goromon also identifies Pumpkinmon. So, like I did for the last show, let's go ahead and just. I'm pretty sure everyone who is a veteran of the series knows Candlemon. Maybe I'll show you different. Oh, you know the picture. Yeah, there you go. Candlemon. Let's read his thing real quick. Of course, he's a rookie Digimon, a flame Digimon whose Digicore can be said, which can also be said to be a Digimon's heart. It burns while atop of its head. So that fire is actually its Digicore. When a Digicore on Candymon's head ceases to burn, it becomes unable to maintain its life. That's pretty dang sad. And one theory suggests that the flame on his head is its true form, but the rest of his body is just a dummy. That's a thing they have in common. Despite a flame Digimon, it has a docile personality and will not bring danger to its surroundings out of its own volition, which makes sense because it is part of this crew. The next one, which is a newer Digimon for me, Candlemon did show up in season 1 of Digimon Adventure by and by. It's this guy, Ikakimon. Looks like a colored pencil. I'm going to take a wild guess and say this guy probably first showed up in Cross Wars. He looks like one of those Digimon. And he did. Showed up in the Hunters Leaping Through Time. I actively do not remember this Digimon, and I watch Hunters Leaping Through Time. So, this is again another child Digimon, a data type, but he is also Digimon with the greatest passion for art amongst everyone in the digital world. Its body is made up of vibrant colored pencils and has always drawn pictures that he likes no matter the time and place. The pencils can also be used for his attack, colorful change, which changes depending on the colors that are used, and the attack color change turns fire element when it's red, water when it's blue, green for grass, etc., etc. Um, Not only that, is able to draw tiny Ikakimon and cause them to materialize with mini Ikakimon attack, which will, act like henchmen. Now, we do see an example of this because it sends a blue energy which turns into literally water. And here is the, star of this spooky episode. In English, we call him Pumpkinmon. In Japanese, they call him Pumpmon. I can greatly see why they would change that name in the West because you can't call something a pump because you start thinking about thrusting. Now, apparently, Pumpmon or Pumpkinmon is actually a puppet. He's part of Nightmare Soldiers, just like the other two child Digimon, but this guy's an ultimate. So again, like Mummymon, this is a guy who was above their pay grade, and I wondered how they were going to beat him. So, just like Candlemon, Pumpkinmon showed up in the first season of Digimon Adventure. He was one of Myotismon's, or well, in Japanese call him Varimon, but Myotismon's army. Doesn't really want to fight, just wants to hang out with Gatsumon. It enjoys the human realm. In this one, slightly different, but I'm gonna read this encyclopedia real quick. Plush toy Digimon with a pumpkin head. There's an urban legend that says Pumpmon came to be when mutations developed in computer virus, creating during the season of the Western holiday, Halloween. However, though it doesn't inflict any harm at all because it was not a malignant virus, its external appearance belies its possession of powerful offensive abilities. As you can tell from even looking at its blank face, a rare expression of emotion is characteristic of Pumpkinmon. It always looks happy to me and slightly frightening, so where am I at here? Its special attack is manifesting a giant pumpkin and then squashing the opponent with it. Trick or treat. That's literally the name of the attack. So we do get a short miniaturized version of that from Angoramon, who does go through. It says ultimate data type, all that other good stuff. So Pumpkinmon says that he was all alone in the human world when he got there. No one talked to him, no one paid attention to him, obviously because they can't see him. But then when this time of year came around, he saw everyone with his face. We see tons of children wearing pumpkin masks, there's pumpkin heads, there's pumpkin everything when it's freaking Halloween. And so he says, well, everybody wearing his face will be his friend. And that's what he wants. The whole entire time when he's carving people's pumpkin faces, he says, we're friends now. He wants nothing but friends. Going about it in a creepy way, but okay. So the gang split up and run. The candles attack Hiro. The colored pencils attack Ruli. Eventually, they meet in the middle, and they come up with another plan. Although we don't hear that one as well, but they're using Rui as bait, and she's saying, "I don't want a pumpkin on my head." As the bad guys try to dogpile her, it's actually a statue that they tricked them into thinking was her. And Hiro tries to reason with Pumpkinmon, but Pumpkinmon just calls him mean for tricking him, says he hates him, and he does the most massive trick or treat attack. I mean, before it can break through, though, Hiro presses a button and had sent all of them into the digital world. I believe he did that when Ruli had mentioned that if Gamamon tried to use a fire attack, it could hurt everybody else. So they've been in this digital world state, which and Gormon even said this place is like the digital world. So it looks like once again we have human world in between space than the digital world. So that massive pumpkin breaks through the digital high school building. Everyone's able to dodge it, but uh, I will have to note, Rudy seems to be a little bit more competent when it comes to attacking because they did get an attack off on the Ikakimon, the petite tornado. Gamamon looks to his buddy, well, his brother Hiro, digivolves into Beto Gamamon, who punches through that giant pumpkin and does the was it the Sora hit, the black flames that light up on Pumpkinmon, and Pumpkinmon's doing stop, drop, and roll. And right when he asks Hiro for more instruction, Hiro says, "Wait a minute." And Pumpkinmon is on his hands and knees crying, says, "I don't want to be friends with you anymore," which is just the way he said it was kind of heartbreaking. I really feel anything for Goofy Digimon when they make dumb mistakes, but this one I actually felt bad for him. And Hiro says, "Look, man, the Halloween pumpkins are just decorations." And Pumpkin Man's doing the thing of kind of repeating it, trying to understand him. And he says, "Friends don't need to have the same face, and friendship should not be forced." Very important things, kids. Everyone doesn't have to look like you to be your friend, and do not force people to be your friends. The more you know. Um, so Hero then goes on and says, as long as you're having fun together, you're friends. And he goes to Ruli and says, "Isn't that right, Ruli?" She says, "Look, as long as you understand, you put us through a lot, and I do not want a pumpkin on my head." Pumpkin's like, "So you'll be friends with me? All you got to do is ask, buddy." And they're friends. And he's cheering. He cheers with his Candlemon and Ikakimon buddies and says, "Yeah, I got human friends." The moment he did that and Hero had clicked the button back for them to go back, they had all disappeared. As a matter of fact, all the pumpkins that they had on top of everyone's heads had disappeared as well. And while they're ruminating on this, they make Hero makes a pumpkin that looks like Pumpkin Mon's head, and Gore, was he also says, I believe they'll end up coming back next year. And Agoromon says something that I think might be a proverb. I'm not 100% sure, but he does mention you have a festival to ward away demons and to fend off demons. If you summon a demon, then the pumpkin disappears. Which I have heard. If you've seen the movie based on the book, The House with the Clock in Its Walls, it said that pumpkins were used to ward off evil spirits and malignant things. So, hmm. um, I actually asked a question in my notes, but I'm going to save that. Next episode is going to be dealing with white snakes. I think I see Quetzalcoatlmon, which one of my favorite Digimon because of the Digimon trading card game, video game on PlayStation One. And we're finally gonna see Jellymon. Now, here's the thing. I like that he reasoned, like he saw, you're not trying to be bad. You just don't understand. Much like Mummymon. Again, these are ultimate level Digimon. I don't care how small Pumpkinmon is, still stronger than you. By far. So, again, he was able to reason with them and get out of the situation. I want to know what's going to happen when you cannot reason with a Digimon. Remember, you couldn't reason with Clockmon. Clockmon just ran away. And Draculmon lied, feigned that he was done being evil. Eventually, you're gonna have to kill a Digimon. And then he'll find out about the whole they turn the eggs thing and won't feel too bad about it because of Angormon. But yes, eventually you're gonna have to kill something. Um, and eventually he's gonna have to say no. I'm interested in seeing what's gonna happen when his little brother Gamamon turns all dark, evil champion level, which I really wish they hadn't teased us with that or hadn't shown that to us. Because anybody that's seen Digimon kind of knows what's gonna happen. I do enjoy knowing what his ultimate level looks like, but yeah, you could have kept it to yourself about that whole dark form, especially being teased in the first episode. Really? Yeesh. This episode overall, I guess I give it a 3.5 because it wasn't necessarily average. Like the point five comes from, again, we're noticing two things about his characterization. Well, three things actually. He's there when you need him, still doesn't say no, and he's able to discern when you can talk through a situation. I'm tempted to give it a four, but we didn't. I'll give it a four because you know what? Angoromon is a really big help. We immediately see how he fits into this group, and I'm happy to say that I don't get like same vibes. Like I can't compare them to other characters. If you want to try to compare Hero to Tai, you can, but they're different. They are not the same. He's not the same as I know his Japanese name. They're not the same as Davis. He's not the same as is the guy's name Daichi, the one that punches Digimon from Digimon Next, Digimon Sabers. I can't remember his name, but not the same as him. Definitely not the same as Takuya. Definitely not the same as the one guy who was in Cross Wars, the leader of that stuff, and his stand-in for Hunters that Leapt Through Time. Granted, he's optimistic and he's helpful, but that whole "I don't say no" thing, I'm interested in seeing where they go with that. But all in all, I'm giving it a 4 because of Ngoramon. And Goramon saved this because I like to award extra points for digging in the lore and getting more information. And that's actually what he did. This wasn't just a run of a mill anime episode, and it kind of wasn't the run of the mill for them. We got a theme episode. I'm highly hoping they do a ghost Christmas episode. I love the Charles Dickens book, so I hope they dig into that when they do an episode around Christmas. But again, let me know what you guys thought of the episode in the comment section down below. And if you've gotten here this far, tell me how cute you think Gamamon is. On a scale of 1 to 5, Gamamon is 5 cute. That is the maximum cute. As always, please give me a like, leave that comment like I asked you before, subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and hit the notification bell if you are, because we do Digimon videos every Sunday. And matter of fact, please make sure to share the video so others can see what a great discussion we're having. As always, thank you for taking some time to spend time with me. I deeply appreciate you all. Be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear your mask. If you are going out this weekend, as always, be safe. Pay attention to your surroundings. Do not go out by yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Either way it goes, do not be a jerk. Happy Halloween. And I will definitely... My camera picked up my Funko Pop. That was kind of creepy. And I will definitely see you next time.